If you're a heat and air technician or even a salesperson, why is it important to know what game your buyer's playing? And why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Sacramento, California, on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you for HVAC Technician sales secrets. Okay, so, here is one of the things that salespeople have a tough time with and entrepreneurs have a tough time with. It's figuring out what game the person you're sitting with is playing. And just to go back to my $12 whiteboard here, we got people who have ethics and morals. Yay! I hope that's you. Please have ethics and morals. And then you have people who justify. And then you have people down here that say, technically speaking, and then they have no problem with lie, cheating, and stealing. And the reason I bring all this up is I did a video previous to this talking about you may struggle if the person in front of you does not have the same playbook, right? You may be coming from an ethical background, which I totally hope that you are. Please do the right thing for your buyer. And then sometimes it's easy to get really frustrated because you're playing from one playbook up here, right? And they're playing from one playbook way down here. And so the way that you counter this is by asking questions. Now, heads up, does it solve the problem? Not all the time. There are some outcomes that come from this. So there is a count in baseball, right? So like if you're watching a baseball game, there's a count of balls and strikes. And the same thing happens in the sales process is you need to count your questions. You need to count the amount of times that you're asking for engagement. And the pendulum swings both ways. You can come over here and say, I'm not asking enough. And then you could go to crazy town and ask way too many. And anytime that you hold people accountable that don't want to be accountable, they start freaking out and they start pushing back. They start like really saying, hey, how dare you? You're a filthy salesperson. You're a filthy entrepreneur and I'm a buyer and I got the money. Right? So like they will get mad and they will get upset. And, part of the thing is for a salesperson like you is to be like, no big deal. And your job is to respond, not to react. So a response is like, oh, okay, I get that. A reaction is, oh, okay, I get that, right? It's a little bit different. And this right here is why you should join my email publication. I will give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. So what that means is you go in there, type in URL, and then it'll probably ask you for your name and your email address, maybe a phone number, and then you'll get an email from me. It'll be magical. So you're going to love me. It's 100% acceptable if you love me after this. I made you a list of 20 different ways to get agreement, okay? 20 different ways to get agreement. There's a ton of them out there. I will put this in the description below, a whole list of ways to get agreement, and I want you to pick like 2 or 3. Out of 20, 2 or 3 are probably going to ring true, and the other 17, you're like, I probably wouldn't say that, okay? So one of the things that you could say is, as we discussed previously and you agreed to, based upon your prior comments, we had the understanding of. Considering your earlier observations, we agreed upon. Drawing from our initial conversation, it was very clear that, echoing your sentiments from before, we acknowledged. From what you shared with me, it seems like we were aligned on. Given your insights earlier, it appears we both have the value in. Highlighting your past input, we noticed that and noted. It was your suggestion to focus on. Our agreement was clear, and we were going to. Recalling our earlier discussion, we concurred that. Reflecting on our conversation, you mentioned that. Revisiting what we talked about, you highlighted that. We captured your interest in a conversation about. We landed on a topic and shared the common goal of. We mapped out this idea together. Is that correct? You affirmed the importance of. You indicated a preference for. You voiced support for blank during our talks. You were keen on blank as we discovered. Your nod was blank was well taken. Your previous remarks led us to conclude that. You expressed an interest in reflecting on our mutual understanding of. You previously pointed out that. You underscored a sentiment that you wanted blank in an earlier discussion. Now, these are all elongated. You can shorten them up as much as you need to. You can remove from it, but I wanted to give you more I wanted to give you more content than what you needed. And the reason for this is like, you don't need all of those. You need 3, right? We had an agreement of. we had discussed, one of the things that you had agreed to was, like, all of these things you have to be willing to go back to and be willing to take the heat, right? Hey, sales dude, sales dude, I don't have to make a commitment to you. Remember, everybody else has got a different playbook. You, my friend, please be playing from up here. They can be playing from down here for light, sheet, and steel. And just recognize this. You may have the best tie downs. You may have the best agreements. You may have all of the best beliefs. But at the end of the day, somebody who is playing from down here at light, sheet, and steel, they won't confirm to your agreements. Like they won't play ball. Sometimes they will, right? Sometimes they're going to recognize, like, hey, sales dude or sales chick has got skills. They're on the commitment game. Yay them. And they may calm down. But at the end of the day, for somebody who's like the technically speaking, right? This dude or this chick, technically speaking, do you really want them as a client? Like, sometimes the best thing for you to do is to pass them off to your competition. So there you go. Get confirmation, get commitments in the sales process. I would love to say 100% of the time it works. Sometimes people just get really upset and don't like the fact that you, as a salesperson, are holding them to a commitment. And this is one of the things that a lot of salespeople struggle with. You got 1 to 3 things to do from here. Just 1 to 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.